part of the solution to reduce obesity.
The weight of the nation is out of control, but we can fix that.
If we don't now take this as a really urgent national priority, we are all going to pay a really serious price.
Obesity will crush the United States in oblivion.
Good morning, Stuart, Florida. My name is Dr. Tread Rossacker, and I am your host for the next hour on my Slim Body Laser Spa's Health and Wellness Show. And I can be heard right here every single Tuesday from 9 to 10 o'clock. And this show has been ongoing for over 10 years. I just want to thank all my listeners and the people that have come up and shared their stories with me when they see me out on the street about their excitement and what they've learned from the show. It humbles me because you're here in this little studio right out downtown from the beautiful Roosevelt Bridge, and you don't know if anybody's really listening. You know, you're here kind of by yourself, and then when people recognize you and come up and tell you, it's wonderful. So I thank you all for listening, and I'm going to try to bring some good information today, as I do every week. And today's show, we're going to go over Weight Loss 101. You know, what I would go over with somebody at my spa to help them with food and to lose weight on their own. And I'll explain that a little bit more. And then I'm going to mention a little bit about COVID because, there's a whole bunch of new mandates now. They have this Monday morning. The new administration has passed a order. I don't know if it's a law, an order that on any public transportation, you have to wear two layers of breathing, and no more scarves, no more bandanas, no more baklavas, or, the things that I like to use. So they want it to be snug around your nose and around your face. And they want 2 layers. And I think that's something that we should talk about, the importance of that and what that means to you. Not on a legal basis, but as a doctor. I also want you to know that I am the owner and a doctor and a client at my Slim Body Laser Spa. And what we do there is I'm using an FDA cleared low-level laser device, which is super safe. And it's designed for spot fat reduction. It's designed to shrink and to help with areas, stubborn fat deposits, or things that you've accumulated over the years. And one of them would be, tummies, thighs, chins, arms, you name it. And in 9 sessions, 9 30-minute laser treatments over 3 weeks with no food 2 hours before you go in the laser, no food 2 hours after. So that's a 4-hour window where you have to restrict your calories. And then at the same time, as you're doing that, you're also eating, drinking plenty of water. You lay on your back for 30 minutes and you will lose 1 to 3 to 9 inches of fat over that 3-week period. I did it myself. I've helped over 5,000 people do this, and it really works. We were at the Port St. Lucie Civic Center Seafood Festival. Yes, I'm struggling to remember. There's festivals every weekend, thank goodness. And they go from Port St. Lucie to Port Salerno to Port Charlotte, you name it. But anyway, it was a seafood festival, and it was at the Civic Center. And we met lots of really wonderful people. And standing there at our booth with the weight loss signs and laser easy weight loss, there was at certain points, there was 4 or 5 people waiting to try to learn and understand more about what we do here at the Slim Body Laser Spa. And, and I believe it's from the realization that 1 year of lockdown, being kept in your houses, not being able to exercise, closing the gyms, we have experienced a 10 to a 15 pound, some of you 20 pounds weight gain. And these are happening to people that normally wouldn't carry this weight around. And then when we talk about it at these shows and at these events, they tell me, well, it's due to COVID. and being locked in. And I'm like, no, COVID happened, but it's due to you overeating and not exercising. Well, but the gym's closed. And I'm like, so do you go to the gym a lot? Well, not really, but they closed the gyms. Okay. In other words, it was, don't let it be an excuse. I put on an extra 10 pounds in COVID myself, but I don't blame it on COVID. I blame it on the fact that I just chose to eat a little bit more than I normally do, and not be as astute on my on my portion control. I always exercise a lot, but there's an adage about weight loss, and I learned this on the HBO series, The Weight of the Nation. It's a 3-disc series you can download right off of YouTube. It's for free. I highly suggest you watch it, because when I saw that 3 CD series, 3 DVDs, it was mind opening to me, because I knew that weight over time is not a good thing. I know nobody likes the way they look when they're overweight. I knew that it can lead to heart disease and stroke and cancer and diabetes. I mean, most people know that. I really didn't understand just how definitely serious it is, that if you are carrying extra weight and it's 10 or 20 pounds and you're over 50, you really are in big trouble. Your systems, your pancreatic system, your blood sugar regulation, your body's the heart to be able to pump blood through the entire body is impaired. Your cardiovascular system is under stress from the extra fat. Fat is inflammatory. Fat creates inflammatory molecules. It's spewing them out. It's spitting them out into your system, and it leaves your joints to be swollen. It causes inflammation, and that low grade chronic inflammatory response, which we carry when we have too much body fat, over time is what creates these opportunistic, diseases, these opportunistic infections. High risk of getting COVID is definitely related to obesity. And you don't have to be as big as a house or somebody on a TV show. If you're 120 pounds and you put on another 20 pounds of fat and you go up to 130, 140, you are most likely obese. You're not just a little porky. You're on that point where your body fat is over 30%. And we're going to talk about that, exactly what that means in a moment here, and how you can check that yourself, because you want to know this number. There's 2 or 3 numbers that you want to know about your health. They're biomarkers, just like you want to know your blood pressure. Your blood pressure should be 120 over 70. That should be your normal blood pressure. 120 is the systolic, and the 120 over 70 is the diastolic. If your pressure starts going up to 130, 140, and your diastolic numbers creeping up from 70 to 75, 80, that's called hypertension. And that means that your arteries in your head and your brain and all through your body is at risk of having, more of a risk of having stroke because of that high blood pressure. But a lot of people will walk around with hypertension and not know it, unless they get their pressure checked. And then when they do, they find out, and the doctor can treat that with medications. Hopefully you'll follow through with lifestyle changes as to why you had the high blood pressure. But a lot of you are walking around with excessive amounts of body fat, and you don't really know it, and you think it's kind of common, but it's not okay. And we need to, our culture, our people, our loving human race really needs to look at this extra body weight as being probably the number one source of illness, of disease occurrence, of lack of energy, of robbing you of your beautiful, wonderful ability to move around the planet with ease. When you start carrying extra weight around and it starts to wear out your joints and your discs, and it affects your blood sugar, And, life is no longer very nice. It becomes fairly miserable. And it's something as simple as learning like 4 basic facts about food, about portion control, quality, and frequency. And I'm going to go over that here in about 2 minutes. We're clinking down here on the time for me to do this. I do want you to know that if you're take 10 of your friends, 10 of your best friends, put them together, and 8 of you will be overweight. 8 will be over 25% body fat, up to 30. And of those 8 people, 4 out of the 8 will be obese, meaning 30% or more. And that is in the entire country. That is a statistic which 20 years ago didn't even exist. I want you to know that in the 90s, year 2000, when they first started doing statistics on weight loss and weight, the average overweight of our nation 20 years ago was 30%. That's 3 out of 10 were considered overweight. The people that were obese in the year 2000 was about 3 to 4%. And think about that. 2000, and in 20 years, we went from 30% overweight to 80% overweight. In 20 short years, we went from 3 to 4% being obese to 40% being obese. And with those numbers come increased diabetes occurrence. 50% of Americans are hyperglycemic or having problems with blood sugar, which will lead to diabetes. 40% suffer from fatty liver disease. Now, fatty liver disease is what alcoholics used to get, and that's what led to their untimely death, the cirrhosis. Fatty liver is from having too much body fat for too long, and your fat lives in the liver too. So if you've got massive amounts of fat on the outside that you're squeezing and grabbing, and you've had it for more than 5 or 10 years, you can rest assured that your liver is also fatty. And fatty liver can turn into, not always, but into cirrhosis and liver disease and liver damage. So, not to mention the stress it puts on your cardiovascular system, the body, the heart, the pump, which pumps blood every single day, 4 ounces every minute. I think it's the amount of blood that the heart moves is insane. And when you have low body fat, the arteries and the capillaries are not constricted. They're not being squeezed, and the heart can very easily push the blood through the body. As you start to put on weight, it also comes usually with bad eating habits. And when you have bad eating habits, you start to put plaque into your arteries. It's called arteriosclerotic plaque. Your arteries start to harden. At the same time, you have all this extra body fat closing off and constricting the arteries. So no wonder the pump is pumping like crazy, trying to get the blood through the body. And your heart muscle can fail. It's called heart failure. And it's part of the sign of cardiovascular disease. Now, heart attacks, chest pain, angina is because the arteries that feed the heart blood become occluded and they become filled with the junk from what you're eating. It's called arteriosclerotic plaque. And because the heart needs a lot of blood supply and it's restricted around those coronary arteries, that is why we feel pain there first. A person will have cardiac symptoms before they're aware that their whole artery system is full of this plaque. So if they're lucky enough to survive, 40% of heart symptoms are leaded with death. And you go in and you have the bypass, and they open up it with maybe an angioplasty, or you have a procedure to your arteries around your heart, trust me, the rest of your arteries are clogged also to a certain extent. Very few people just have it in their heart. It's systemic. It's an arterial disease. And listen, a lot of this begins and ends with food, with what you're eating, the type of calories you're choosing. Are they cleansing calories? Are they eliminative, or are they just empty calories full of sugar and toxins? So at my Slim Body Laser Spa, I'm using a laser to assist and to speed this process up, to help you to get the fat off faster, so you're more motivated to continue. That's the best way I can describe it. This laser gets rid of 3 to 4 inches of girth in 3 to 4 weeks. What happened to me, and then my desire to continue to eat better, and really, I saw hope. And that's what we sell, and that's what we offer at the Slim Body. We sell hope and results that you can pretty much bank on, almost perfect. It really is. It's an amazing thing. And once you get started and you see the inch loss and you've got your food plan, well, you're on your way to go. You're on the right path to start working on getting this weight off. We saw 3 people that came up to us at the Port St. Lucie show this weekend, and both of them had lost over 25 to 30 pounds after they left the spa because of the training and the results they got from the laser. So my name is Dr. Tread Rissacker, and my office is located at East Ocean Boulevard in Stewart, right across from the Fresh Market, at the intersection of Monterey Road and East Ocean Boulevard. It used to be the Haagen-Dazs. It's next to Carmela's Pizza. It's a freestanding building. We got 4 private rooms. We have 4 $30,000 laser machines. We have a whole body vibration area, consultation room. We have a nice waiting room in front, and over 400 8x10 pictures, signed testimonials from people about their results at the spa. So you don't have to trust or take it from my staff or from me that it works. You can read those testimonials. In my website, Dr. Tread's slimbodylaserspa.com, or any combination of that will get you to my website. Look at the menu and hit love letters, and you will see 60 love letters that are scroll through. So when you hit it, it blows it up and you can read it. And there'll be people there that you recognize, because these are all local people. So we're going to just take a little 2-minute break here. And then when I come back, I'm going to go into my Weight Loss 101 and explain to you exactly what I go over in the spa with my wonderful clients. And we'll be back right after this break.
Now back to Stuart Laser Talk here on WSTU 1450. And back to your host, Dr. Tread J. Rosacker.
Hey. We're back. All right. Here is now at the end of the list, I'll go over the weight loss, but I think that this is important to know what you can do today to ensure that you're working on being a healthy person compared to not being a healthy person. This is my list to do. Okay. And I'm going to hold it up in front of the Facebook. You'll see I wrote this out myself, and I'll go over this. If anybody wants a copy of this, shoot us a text, an email, or to my website and ask if you'd like a list of Dr. Tread's list to be healthy. And I'm going to go over this. This will be about 5 minutes to go over this. And this is what I do every day. All right. And this is your anti-COVID. This is your armor against COVID. This is your armor suit that you put on when you go out into the world versus these stupid masks, okay? Masks do not prevent the transmission of COVID or any virus. Well documented. Everybody knows that. So why are we putting them on? They can lessen the chance because you're not getting big chunks of spit on you when you put a mask on, but they're not really protecting you as if it's like you would think. So you need to do these things I'm going to go over on this list right here. I could show you the information here, a guide to home-based COVID treatment right here from the American Journal of Physicians and Surgeons. This is a to-do list of what you can do to not get sick if you get COVID. There's a lot of people out there that get exposed and have no symptoms. They are highly resistant people. Trust me, you want to be highly resistant. You do not want to be low resistance. And then you'll need all of the plethora of chemicals and injectables and nasal sprays and masking that required because you haven't taken care of your health. Here's my list to be healthy. Number 1, this first one is one of the most difficult parts for people to follow. I do this all day long in my office. I talk to thousands of people. And one of the tests that we do at the office is we have a test which tells you how hydrated you are, how much of your body, how much water you're carrying in your body. Now, the human body is about 76% water. That's 76% of your weight is water. The other 28% is not water. Yet you don't want to drink water. We don't drink enough water. And you do not get the right amounts of water from coffee, from sodas, from milk, from these other products. These are not, it has to be free water which is not tied up with other solutes and sugars and flavorings and everything else. It needs to be water in its pure state because that is the most effective. That's what your body utilizes to heal itself, to cleanse itself, to stimulate all of the reactions in your body, your chemical, your digestive tract, your neurological function. Everything is started and begun and ends with lots of fresh water. And if you're drinking your sodas and Gatorades and things with all these chemicals in it, you're not getting that free water. So my goal every day is to drink at least 1 gallon of purified water every day. I start out with a gallon jug on my counter when I get up in the morning. I drink 2 big 16-ounce cups. That's to start. That's 32 ounces. That brings that jug down to about, a quarter of it's gone. And then I do my best to drink at least the rest of that jug during the day. Okay? Really critically important to drink that water. Number 2, I exercise and I move my body every day. And you must exercise and you must move your body. Now, that could be a nice walk, a jog, a swim. You could practice yoga. You could do push-ups, leg lifts. I like to use whole body vibration. I have a machine that you stand on, moves you up and down, shakes your body left and right. And this activates all of your muscle cells. It helps with nutrition. It helps with detoxification. It helps with your balance. I had a foot injury and I'm rehabbing my foot. For those of you who have been listening to my show, my non-healing toe ulcer I've had for 3 years is healed. God, hallelujah. It healed. It was like finding out you don't have cancer when this thing healed up. I'm telling you, that's how I felt. And now that was about 12 weeks ago. And now I am left over with a fairly weak, kind of lame left leg because I wore a boot for close to 3 years. And, the procedure they did to fix my toe was to release my Achilles tendon, which is the calf muscle, was too tight. And that tightness was putting a lot of pressure on the front of my foot, and it wasn't allowing that toe ulcer to heal. And as a result of cutting that tendon, they weakened my foot. And now I'm walking with a gimp. And I'm really consciously trying to, I know it's going to get strong again. I know I'm going to overcome this. But, you got to move your body every day. That's a law. That's number 2 law. This is an immutable law and cannot be ignored. If you ignore the law of movement, nature will slowly or quickly surely eliminate you. Let me repeat that. If you're don't believe in getting up off the couch to move around, and you don't like exercise, or you're not going to do the movement, the law, if you do not conform with the law of movement, nature will slowly or quickly eliminate you. Number 3, the food you eat should be live food. Okay? That means food in its most natural state. The vegetables and the food that we get from the earth is really full of energy from the sun. The sun is a thermonuclear reactor that sits up above us, and it bathes our earth with radiant energy. Energy is coming down from the sun onto the planet, and it hits everything. And what it does is that radiant energy is absorbed by plants with the help of chlorophyll, and it builds the plant structure, but it makes starches. So a plant makes starches. A starch is a long carbohydrate molecule that is loaded with energy in the form of energy from the sun. It's turned into chemical energy because that's what the plant does. It transmutates the radiant energy into chemical energy and puts it into a big starch molecule. You eat the starch molecule. You eat the plant. When the body digests and breaks up that big long molecule of starch and carbohydrates, it releases energy in the form of chemical energy. And that energy is then transported to the cells through the bloodstream, and that's what powers your body. So if you eat something and that's because it's a live food, the more you process it, the more you boil it, the more you cook it, the longer you try to preserve it, you lose that energy within the food substance. It becomes what we call empty calories. Okay? It simply doesn't have the same amount of energy that it did when it was in its natural state. So you still get some energy from it, but not the same amount. And it brings other things such as toxins and dead particles that your body has to get rid of. And that's why we're so tired all the time, because the food we're eating is not nutritious. It's devoid of the energy. And in fact, it's so devoid, they have to fortify it. That's what that means, to fortify something, is to put the vitamins and minerals back into it. And this is a cause of a lot of health problems and a lot of energy issues. I'll tell you, do the challenge. There's a couple places in town. One is called the Modern Juice Company right there at the Home Goods. And go in there, and you can also go to Planet Ozone on US 1, the gas station right across from the bowling lanes on US 1. You can also go to Fruits and Roots, the vegan cafe there on Colorado Avenue next to the old Goodyear. And you can also go down to the beet store. It's the Fresh Beets, Beet City. And that's in the plaza right by my office. Get a big glass of freshly squeezed, either carrot juice or some vegetable-based juice. You drink that juice right after it's juiced, I promise you, you will feel like you just drank a Red Bull. The energy which you get from drinking a fresh juice is better than a cup of coffee. Believe me, it is. When I have a big glass of juice, I break out in a little sweat. I know I could feel the energy from it. So eat live food, lots of fresh veggies, low sugar fruit. At least 75% of your dietary intake should be plant-based. And that leaves you with 25 to 30% of lean proteins and some good oils. All right. Eat high quality protein. Okay. Stay away from processed meats. Processed meats, things which are cold cuts, which are mixed with a bunch of things like bolognas and salamis and, sausages. These have a lot of nitrates in them. They have a lot of preservatives, things to preserve the flavor and the coloring. And it's not good for you. You want to have good, healthy protein. Wild game, as horrible as that sounds, is probably one of the healthiest protein sources you can get. You make fun of these cowboys out there hunting hogs at night, and then they take the pigs home and they grill them, and that grilled hog that they got out in the woods is healthier than what you bought at the store. Trust me. No antibiotics and no growth hormones. They eat natural food from the area. And you want organically raised, grass-fed beef, things which are raised humanely, in my opinion, So lots of seafood. Seafood is your friend. Seafood is good. It's got a lot of good oils in it. And there's also a lot of proteins in vegetables. You just have to know what vegetable you're picking. So green leafy vegetables, spinach, kale, broccoli, contain 50% protein. It's not complete protein like animal proteins, but it's still a lot of protein, and it's very good for you. That's why Popeye used to do the spinach, make his arms strong. Spinach is good for you. And so are beans, legumes, pinto beans, kidney beans, garbanzo beans, you name it. Beans have a lot of protein also. That's why they're good for you. All right. I take supplements, okay? I do. Half of the people I talk to do take some supplements, but very few really take enough or the right ones. So what is a supplement? A supplement is a vitamin or a mineral that you're taking or other plant-based nutrients to supplement your diet. In other words, the food you're eating doesn't contain all the important nutrients anymore. And that's because of processing, bad farming practices, excessive fertilizer, insecticides, pesticides, and also fresh food that is stored too long or shipped too far. Do you know the food you're eating in the wintertime is from Peru and Colombia and Central America? I mean, these are packaged and sent, and it's incredible how. So, these things are sent to you and they're old. They've been traveled for thousands of miles. I would want to stick close to food. Now, the other thing I would tell you is have a garden. I have an incredible garden. It's wintertime in Florida. You think you're a gardening maven, everything grows. In the summertime, half everything I planted died. I couldn't believe it. I thought I was a failure. So have a nice garden. You should do that today. It's a protection against economic downturns. If you can grow food and you got an ability to take seeds and turn them into food for your friends and family, I promise you, you will sleep better knowing that you have the capability to do that. I love my garden. I share it with everybody. Okay. So Western diet is terrible. Our fruits and vegetables are mostly devoid of trace elements and necessary enzymes. We must take supplements in the form of vitamins and minerals to be healthy. All right. So this is my list for essential supplements. Okay. And these will boost your immune function. Now, before COVID, some of these I did not include, but as a result of this COVID nightmare, there's a few things I put on, and I do them religiously. And those are vitamin D, zinc, and vitamin D and zinc, and vitamin A. Now, I've always been a big believer in vitamin C. I've been doing it since I was a teenager. So I also believe in a good multivitamin. I like liquid multivitamins. I don't really like the Centrums or the these things you buy at the grocery stores, which are called multivitamins. You know, they're very minimal amounts of supplementation. I like the ones which are food-based, plant-based, multi-mineral and multivitamin liquid form. And you'll get those at the health food store. We have a product at our office called Intramax. It's made by Drucker Labs. It's 415 organically bound nutrients, enzymes, plant extracts, minerals. It's like a kitchen sink. You know, it's the kitchen sink. Everything is in it. 2 capsules a day, and you're really covered on, 95% of all your nutrition needs for supplementation is covered with that product called Intramax. Now, as a result of the Intramax, I also take extra vitamin C. I do 1,000 milligrams twice a day. I also take omega-3 fatty acids. And these are the acids that come from fish oils and from avocado oils and from the plant-based oils, okay? Not vegetable oil, but omega-3 oils. This would be, they can get them from the eggs, but mainly, they're fish oils. So you want to take those omega-3 fatty acids. We do not manufacture these naturally. We have to eat these to get these in our body. And since we don't eat enough fish, it's much better to supplement with a nice omega-3 fatty acid. And I take 2,000 micrograms of OM3 fatty acids every day. I also take 5,000 IUs, international units of vitamin D. Now, vitamin D it seems that it's a vitamin, but it's really a hormone. I don't know why. It's a vitamin. Now, we do manufacture vitamin D. Your body is able to create it through the interaction of sunlight and cholesterol. So if you have the proper amount of cholesterol and then you get the proper amount of sun, you will manufacture vitamin D from that. But here's the problem. Cholesterol has gotten a bad rap, and everybody's trying to reduce their cholesterol, which is why they take these statin drugs. And they're staying out of the sun because somebody told them that if you get too much sun, which is true to a certain extent, you're going to have skin cancer. Now, too much sun and too much alcohol and too much water and too many bananas will all make us all sick, right? It's nothing new to that. Too much sun will cook you. It'll burn you. They're right. However, 20 minutes a day, full sun on the body, 10 minutes in the morning, I do not think is too much sun. Your body was designed to live in sunlight and dark at night and sunlight, and you can move to shade if you're getting too much sun. Yet we are completely avoiding the sun, and that is a health risk. That's a health problem. Now, so what's happened is, as a culture, we are very low in vitamin D. If you go to the doctor and they chew your blood work, they're recommending vitamin D like crazy. Now, what vitamin D does for your health is really important. Vitamin D is the hormone which translates energy, sunlight, radiant energy, which comes into your body through the skin as radiant energy. And then what vitamin D does is vitamin D transports the radiant energy, converts it into chemical energy, and then carries it to the cell. So vitamin D is essential for getting energy from these other systems, such as from sunlight, which is why it's so important with health. It's kind of like you're at the train station and you're standing on the platform and you're hungry as heck. You haven't eaten, and the train shows up and it's full of food, but somebody has to bring it from the train to you across the platform. And without that carrier molecule, you're not getting the food. That's what vitamin D is. The sunlight is in the train and it's in your body, but to get it to you where you can eat it, vitamin D is what carries it across the line. It's a hormone. Without it, you're in trouble. So you need to be taking vitamin D. Most of you out there. I take 5,000 IUs per day. A multivitamin might contain 250, IUs, which is a very small amount. I'm recommending 5,000. So this is the big issue with multivitamins, is they carry very small amounts, almost not even enough to really make a change. They're definitely not therapeutic doses. So this vitamin C, omega-3, and vitamin D, these are therapeutic doses, meaning they protect you more than the multivitamin. All right. Vitamin A, 1,000 micrograms. And vitamin A is called retinoic acid, and it helps your vision, and it helps you transport that energy from the sun through your eyes. Now, zinc sulfate. How many people have tried to buy zinc at the store and it's all gone? All right. Somebody figured it out that zinc is important to prevent viral infection. Zinc is an antiviral agent. So you should be taking zinc in addition to your multivitamins and your vitamin D every single day. And I am taking 220 milligrams per day. It's called zinc sulfate. I bought it at Walmart. It's like $3 a bottle. I bought 10. I went online and bought 10 of them. They were there in 3 days. I feel comfortable that I have enough zinc. And I did the same thing with vitamin D, by the way. Now, one of my patients came in and said, well, I brought my multivitamin. I want to know if it says I'm taking zinc. It was such a small amount of zinc in that multivitamin that it was almost laughable that they even put it on there. I mean, it was like 10 to 15 micrograms. It was such a low amount that you probably got that just from the salt you're eating, the zinc that's in the minerals. So you want 50 to 220 milligrams per day. All right. Super B complex. Now the B vitamins usually come in the multivitamins you're eating, and the B complex vitamins, those are the ones that make your urine yellow, by the way. You also need a multi-mineral supplement. Okay. Got another 5 minutes. Weight loss is easy peasy here, okay? So here's the deal. Every day, your body performs work. In other words, when you get up in the morning to when you go to sleep at night, you're burning energy. You're working, whether it's taking care of the kids, whether it's sitting at the computer, maybe you're carrying water up from the river, breaking rocks. I don't know what you're doing, but you're burning energy. And that energy is like fuel for your body. And the next day, you have to replace that energy. And we do it with food. We don't drink gasoline. We don't eat nuclear material. Food is our energy source. So if you eat more than you regularly burn, so you have something called your regular burn rate, your habits, your age, your gender, your weight, how old you are, has a lot to do with how many calories you burn every day. A 23-year-old male who's single and exercises and works out because he's trying to meet a girl and get married, is going to burn a lot more energy every day than a 65-year-old male who's already had all of his kids and's retired, right? Does that make sense? He's burning more energy than an older person. So that young person can eat more food and not get fat because he's burning the energy. However, that older person who's slowing down is not burning as much energy. They have to be much more conscious to eat less than they did when they were younger. Yet most of you are retiring and actually eating more than you did when you were younger. It's true. More breakfasts, more lunches, big dinners, meeting people at the club. Now they're drinking alcohol. You know, they used to only maybe on the weekend because of work, they'd have some cocktails with the friends at the beach on Saturday. Now it's every day. And to be honest with you, if you're eating more than 1,800 to 2,000 calories and you're over 65, unless you're a workout maniac, those are too many calories. Okay? We call this your basal metabolic rate. This is how many calories you burn at rest. And I have a machine in the office. You put these pads on your hand and on your foot, put your age, your weight, your gender, and it calculates your body fat. And then it comes up with your resting caloric intake. Now, listen to me very carefully. If you do not know your resting caloric intake, if you do not know right now what your BMR is, how can you ever hope to lose weight or change your body if you don't know your burn, how many calories you can safely consume? Okay. When I did my BMR 7 years ago, it was 2,400 calories. I was 6'1", I weighed 265 pounds, and I was 52 years old. All right. And you know, you can eat 2,500 calories in one meal at the Bonefish Grill. I want you to know that. Easy. And then you had breakfast with your friends at the club, and you had pancakes, and you had some bacon, and you had an egg, a little juice. Of course, you put the non-sweetener creamer in, you put the Splenda in because you're worried about calories. That's about a 1,400 calorie breakfast. And you're at the golf course and you're playing around and you get a nice tuna sandwich, maybe some chips, and you have that obligatory beer. You know, it's already 12. That's another 1,500 calories right there. So now you're up to 3,000. It's not even past lunch. And then we go into dinner. Well, some friends are in from out of town. They're taking me down to Sailor's Return. And I've really been wanting to get those escargot. You know, those things they are so tasty. And at the same time, I'm going to get maybe I'll get a salad ahead of time, but make sure I want extra croutons and, baked potato and a couple more cocktails. My friends, that is about a 4,000 to a 5,000 caloric intake in one day. If my burn rate was only 2,400 calories and I'm a man, if I ate that much every day, I would put on a pound of fat every day. So that's probably most of your out there's problem. You're eating more calories than you can burn, and you will always put on fat that way unless you're exercising it off, and it's very hard to do that. So you need to target your intake to be under 2,000 calories. That's the first rule of weight loss. Know your BMR and stay underneath it. So number 3 is, you can't eat those calories at one sitting. You have to spread them out during your day. So if you're up for 8 or if you're up for 14 hours, you got to spread out those 2,000 calories in the morning, lunch, and dinner, or morning snack, lunch, snack, dinner, snack, either 3 segments or 6 segments. So you would eat 300 calories 6 times a day, or 500 or 700 calories 3 times a day, but you can't skip meals. So that's called portion control and frequency. All right. So I went over the quality. It needs to be real food. It needs to be vegetables, low sugar fruits, and lean proteins. and you're good. I mean, you're going to live a long time and you'll lose weight. All right. If you want to get my list of how to be healthy, shoot us out an email. I will be here next week. We're also going to be in Hobe Sound at the art fair this weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you there. God bless, and thank you so much. Bye-bye.